Hedda, welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited because this is one of my favorite videos to make. 2023 is just approaching so fast, and that means that I need to set up my new bullet journal for the new year. This is the notebook that has gotten me through the second half of 2022. I love it so much. It's from Tukti and it is now completely full. So I'll be moving on to a new notebook, and I'm going to try a size of notebook that I have never used before. I've used many sizes of notebooks in the past. A5, a little bit smaller than A5. I've used the Nuna M, I've used the Nuna S, I've used a Traveler's Notebook standard size. This one is an A5, but one size I have never used before is a B5. It's so big, look at it! It's so much bigger than my head. For comparison, this is my A5. Oh my gosh. I'll be completely honest, I'm a little bit worried, but I'm going to try because bullet journaling is all about experimenting, trying new things, and life is more exciting when you switch it up now and then. So this is my next bullet journal, and look how beautiful it is. Look at this, gold gilded. There's a cat, and I love cats, so that's perfect. This beautiful notebook is from Notebook Therapy, and they are also sponsoring this video. Notebook Therapy is one of my favorite brands when it comes to wooden stamps, washi tape, scrapbooking paper, notebooks, not to mention. They kindly provided me with this notebook to use for 2023. And although I am scared, I'm also very excited to try a new format to see how I will set up my spreads in a B5 notebook. As I am filming this, I haven't actually made any spreads in this notebook, so ooh. What I really love about Notebook Therapy is that they try so many different themes and color palettes, and there is something for everyone. You can always get 10% off your order from Notebook Therapy with my affiliate code mochibujo10. And I will also put some links to some of my favorite products from them in the description box below, and of course links to any of their products that I show you in this video. Thank you to Notebook Therapy for being awesome, and now let's get started on my 2023 bullet journal setup. Fun fact, I actually filmed this video at a capsule hotel here in Tokyo. This particular one has like a lounge area on the 10th floor, which was really pretty and really bright, so I decided to film my video here. It's kind of a co-working space. Unfortunately, the light didn't really agree with my camera, so there is a bit of a flicker. I hope it won't be too disturbing. It's not too noticeable once the video is sped up, so hopefully this won't be a problem. I think it's really fun to watch people's bullet journal setups for the whole year because everyone has such a different approach to bullet journaling and what they prefer to have in their bullet journal. So keep in mind that this is just what I prefer to have, and I really recommend checking out other creators as well and just kind of picking and choosing what you think you might want in your journal and take it from there if this is your first time setting up a journal. I know a lot of people like to start their bullet journals at the beginning of the year, so the first thing I would like to say is that you don't have to start in January. You can start anytime during the year. So I'm going to start by making a cover page. This is not really necessary, but I just like having a little cover page at the front of my journal, and this is also on that first page that is kind of awkward because it's like the page that keeps the first signature and kind of the binding together, so it's always a little bit awkward, and I decided to just make it a little cover page. So I'm just writing 2023. I'm using an art print from Marigona Suli Art. It's this really pretty moon, like pink moon and bunny print. This is the smaller version of the print, and I chose this one because 2023 is the year of the rabbit according to the Chinese zodiac, and I had these bunnies and I thought this is perfect. I also have matching washi tapes also from Marigona Stuli Art. She made 2 washi tapes that match this print perfectly. One of them has bunnies on it and the other one has more like moons and plants and stuff. So yeah, I felt like this just fit perfectly. So I combined it with some ripped out pages out of old books and some stamps from Notebook Therapy, and there you have it, a very simple cover page. The print definitely helps. It's so much easier to make the page look pretty when you already have a beautiful picture, you know? Next up is the spread that I consider the most important spread in my bullet journal to me, and that is my future log. This is where I have the whole year laid out and I have some room to write down events, appointments, birthdays, deadlines, stuff like that, everything that I need to keep track of throughout the year, because I do set up my monthly setups from month to month, so I don't have any other calendars already set up for stuff like this. So my future log is super important. For the first time, I can fit the whole future log onto one spread instead of splitting it up into 6 months on one spread and 6 months on the other spread. So that's super exciting. I'm really happy to be able to have it all on one spread. To decorate this spread, I am using the same washi tapes from Marigona Stuli Art that I used on the cover page, and then I'm using some scrapbooking paper from Notebook Therapy and also some old book pages again. I really like incorporating that in my journals. You will have seen a lot of it in my reading journal, for example. So what I'm doing now is I am putting down some washi tape onto these sections that I already penciled out. They're not that big, there won't be that much room to write under each month, but it will be enough, I think, I hope. If not, I'll have to just make an additional spread at the back of my journal or something like that. But yeah, so I'm putting down this washi tape, which will kind of serve as the background, because I have these stickers from Paper Monogatari, and these are so convenient. They're just little calendar stickers for the whole year of 2023, so I don't have to write down all of the little calendars, because that's a huge job, and sometimes you have to do it, but if you can avoid it, you know, why not avoid it? So this saved me a ton of time setting up the spread, and I think my wrist and my hand is also very thankful for these stickers. I hadn't really planned very much of the spread already, because I knew that I would be using a lot of ephemera like washi tapes and scrapbooking paper and stuff like that, so there wasn't really that much to draw. That's why I didn't sketch very much. I just kind of measured out the rectangles for where the calendars would go, and that was kind of the extent of my planning. For the title, I am using this loose leaf paper from Muji, and I'm just writing future log in this kind of bubbly font. I don't know, this has kind of been my go-to font for a long time. It's just very simple, very easy to make, and I'm coloring it in this like kind of pale pink, the same pink that I've used in my December bullet journal setup actually. I think that since there's so much going on in the spread already, it's kind of fitting to have a simpler header, and all I'm writing is just future log, nice and simple. I did make a little drop shadow, I guess, using a thinner black fine liner, and then here for what took the longest time on the spread, and that was cutting out all of the letters and then gluing them onto the page. This took me a little while. I wasn't too meticulous about the cutting, but still, it did take a while. But I think that the end result is quite cute. I like how it turned out, and I think it was the right choice for this spread. I also used some more stickers from Marigona Stuli Art. There's this one sticker sheet, it has like really cute bunnies, and I like that the background, like the edges around the stickers is not white, but it's like this pale pink. So it fit really well on the sticker sheet together with the matching washi tapes, and I love it so much, and it makes me so excited to start using this notebook. And even though it has a cat on the cover, it's still pink, and I feel like this really matches the aesthetic of the notebook, if that makes sense. So I'm just placing a bunch of stickers at the end here because I just wanted to have some more decorations, because other than this there won't really be anything other than regular text going into the spread. So just decorating as much as I can without making it too overwhelming. And I really like Marigona Stuli Art stickers for this because she has a lot of like really really small stickers that can fit in small spaces. Yeah, so I really enjoyed it. I like how the spread turned out. I think it looks really nice and it matches the cover page and it matches my notebook, so yeah. And then for this next spread, it's also going to kind of follow the same aesthetic, but this spread will be my word of the year and my goals for 2023 spread. But on the left side, I am actually drawing a little self-portrait. If you watched my 2022 bullet journal setup that I posted a year ago, I did a little self-portrait in that notebook as well, but with a tiger, since 2022 was the year of the tiger, and this time it was the year of the rabbit, and I'm really happy that it was the rabbit because it's probably one of the easiest animals to draw from the zodiac, well, maybe except for the snake. I think the snake would be even easier. But yeah, so I drew this little picture of myself with a bunny. I've actually never held a rabbit before. Well, I might have held my friend's rabbit once or twice when I was like really young, like elementary school, but I can't really remember. But they look really soft, and maybe if I get the chance to hold one in the future, I will grab that opportunity. I used my Ohuhu brush pens to draw this, like to draw the line art, because it gives a very organic feeling. I think I say this every time I use brush pens to draw with rather than fine liners, but it just makes the art come alive a little bit more, I think. I sketched this out with pencil before I filmed this video because I am not very good at just like drawing, going straight in with the pen without making a sketch first. I always have to have a sketch first, and it does make the end result a lot better, I think, because I get to, you know, make mistakes and make changes before I commit to the pen. So yeah, this is just a cute little drawing that I did. The bunny ears are there because, you know, year of the rabbit, and I tried to keep within the same color scheme as the previous two spreads, although this is the last spread in the setup that I use this color scheme for because I did want to switch things up a little bit. I don't like having all of my yearly spreads in the same theme. I like to vary it a little bit and have some different colors, different themes, different stickers and washi tapes, all of that, so that it's not all the same. Because personally, I think that gets a little bit boring when you just look at the same colors and themes all year. And I say all year because I think this notebook might actually last me for the entire year, which would be really cool. But of course, that remains to be seen. So like I mentioned, this spread is going to be my word of the year and my goals spread. In my previous journal, I had two separate pages for this. I had my word of the year page, and then I had a goals for 2022 and like reflections for 2022 on another spread. But this time I'm combining my word of the year and my goals on one page, simply because there was room for it. It felt a little bit silly to use an entire spread in this huge notebook just for one word, you know? So I combined them. I think that it turned out fine. My word for 2023 is courage, and I chose this because I don't know what 2023 is going to bring. I don't even know where I will be most of the year. So I chose the word courage to help me remember to be brave and jump into things and do scary things and do new things, try new things. And you know, it's okay to be scared. It's natural to be scared sometimes, but it's also important to kind of overcome that fear and just jump into it. So yeah, that's why I chose courage for my word of the year. If you also do word of the year, let me know in your comment what your word of the year is for 2023, because I would really like to know. I decided to put my word of the year at the top of the right page on the spread. So I used the same washi tapes and scrapbooking paper that I used for the previous two spreads to kind of make a little header, I guess, or like a little section on top for the word of the year. And then below that I have a section with 3 goals, I guess, but instead of writing goals, I wrote that in 2023 I want to ... and then I have 3 sections. So I used one of these stamps from Notebook Therapy to make 3, I guess, bullet points kind of. And that's where I will write down my goals for 2023. And that's something that I like to do kind of over the holidays, do a little reflection session right around New Year's and kind of figure out where I want to take my life in the next year. So I won't be filling in the spread in this video, but that's just kind of how I'm going to use it. At the bottom of the spread, I also did a little, like a small little collage as well, just to kind of finish off the spread because it looked a little bit empty at the bottom. So I just wanted to give it a little bit of balance. Since I have the collage at the top of the spread, it looked nice to have a little collage at the bottom as well. But now back to the left side of the spread, I'm going to color this in, but I wanted to wait until I was certain that the line art was completely dry so that I wouldn't like muddle the colors. So the first thing that I did was to use some stamps from Notebook Therapy. These are the Vintage Rose Volume 2 and also the Moonlit Spells wooden stamps, and I just put them along the edge here, and I think it just gave it a nice detail. And then I used the extra small calligraphy pen from Ohuhu to draw the border, and I drew 2 lines and I made one of the lines extra squiggly. And I think this is a really cute look, and I've used it for basically all the boxes that I make in this setup. I got out some of my watercolor brush pens from Ohuhu to color this in, and I have to say, since they are meant to be used with water, they don't blend that well when you don't use water. And I didn't really want to use water here because I didn't want the pages to get all wobbly and, you know, curl up, which can easily happen when you use water on paper that isn't watercolor paper. So the background could have definitely been blended better. You can kind of tell where my lines are overlapping, but oh well, it is what it is, and it's not the end of the world. I used the same pink that I used to write Courage for the background to kind of have that recurring color scheme, I guess. And then I just used some other colors that I felt would match, like the bunny turned brown. I don't know, there should be brown bunnies, right? I think there are brown bunnies. I tried to do some shading and some different colors, especially for the bunny and the hair, but like I said, it was a little bit difficult since I'm not using any water with this. I did try to use a little bit of water on the bunny, but it didn't really do anything because of the paper. The paper is not meant for watercolors, so yeah. I wouldn't call it a fail. It's just a little test that didn't really work out, and it's okay because I think that after all of my attempts at shading and kind of doing some details afterwards and also going in with my white gel pen at the end really did a big difference, and I think it turned out quite cute. It's quite interesting that this particular set of watercolor brush pens that I'm using don't really have any like really good skin tones, I guess. There's a lot of really beautiful colors, but when it came to coloring in my skin, I was like, what do I use for this? So I ended up with a really pale pink, which is correct. Like my skin is like pale and pink. I look maybe a little bit ghostly, but that's okay. I used my white Sakura Jelly Roll gel pen for some details, just adding a little bit of white here and there. I feel like it really makes a difference and kind of gives the drawing that little extra, you know, that kind of makes it pop a little bit more. So that's a pro tip. If you have a piece of artwork that you colored in and you feel like it's missing something, try to go in with a white gel pen and just like make some details because it makes a huge difference. And that's pretty much it for the spread. I will be filling in my goals for 2023, of course, but like I said before, I won't do that on camera because I don't want to do it yet. I want to wait until the beginning of January. The next spread I am setting up will be all about health, and on the left side I will have my period tracker, which you will have seen before if you watched any of my other bullet journal setups. I always make the same period tracker in all of my journals, so nothing new there. But on the right side I will have more of a health tracker, not even a tracker, but kind of like a when did I last spread, which will have like details of like different health professionals that I see semi-regularly, and you know, last time I was there, or things I need to check up on or stuff like that. I never felt like I needed this before, but I don't know. As I'm getting older, there seems to be things that, you know, needs to be checked up on, and I just thought it might be a good idea to have this spread because I've never had a spread like this before. So on the left side for my period tracker, I used a gray mile liner to make little dots for each day of the year, and I'm using some washi tapes from the Cloud Dreamland set from Notebook Therapy, and also the Winter Moonflower washi tape set that just came out. So this spread will be very blue, which I know it's unusual for me, but I wanted to use these sets and I thought that this would be a good spread for it. So on the left side on top of the period tracker, I have just the first letter of each of the months. And then basically what I do is I just put a black dot on the days that I have my period. And then I might also do like an empty circle on days where I have spotting, for example, but I haven't quite decided how I will do that yet. For my headers, I made them the exact same way I did the header on the future log, except blue this time, obviously. And on the left side, I wanted to write period tracker, but it turned out that word was a bit too long, so I ended up with period log, which works as well, I guess. On the right side for my health tracker, I have 4 different sections for different types of doctors, like dentist, GP, stuff like that. I use these wooden stamps from Notebook Therapy's Cloud Dreamland set to make these little Polaroid photos. And like inside of the Polaroid, I'm going to write like my doctor's contact info, like name and contact info, and then next to it in the big rectangle, I'll write down like when I was there last and things that I like to check up on next time I go. I don't go to doctors that often, but I do recognize that it's becoming increasingly important to just make sure that I actually do go once in a while, because I just tend to put it off and forget about it because that's a lot easier. So just using some stamps and some washi tape for some extra details on the spread. And you know what I really like about this B5 notebook now, after having set up these spreads, is that I have so much room to decorate. There's so much extra room. So I'm really enjoying that, and I think that I will really enjoy setting up my monthly spreads in this notebook as well. But of course, time will tell. I might get frustrated because there's too much room and all of the layouts that I've used in my A5 notebook might not work as well in a B5 notebook, but you know, we'll find out how that goes. The final decoration on this spread was just some stamps, also from the Cloud Dreamland stamp set from Notebook Therapy. I really love these stamps, and you can just combine them with so many different themes because they're not like washi tape that has colors and like color schemes and stuff. These are just plain stamps, and you can use whatever color you want with different kinds of stamp pads. I think I might be really warming up to blue. The last spread I am setting up in this video is a spread for my pen pals and other mail. And by other mail, I mean all of the letters that you guys send to me. So I like to keep track of them. I have a folder on my computer with photos of all of the letters and everything that you guys send to me. And I have a list in my current journal as well of people that I should reply to. As you may know, I opened my PO box like a couple of years ago now, and I said, you can send me something, I will try to reply. And I have really tried. I have really tried to reply to everyone, but I have fallen behind a lot because I get a lot more letters than I'm able to reply to. So I have a huge backlog. And I think that for 2023, I won't make any promises anymore. I can't even say that I will try to reply because it has just become impossible. But what I think I would like to do is I would like to send everyone at least a postcard just to like acknowledge that I did receive your letter. So that is kind of a new project that I'm starting, just sending postcards to everyone who has sent me letters. So I do want to still keep track of all of the letters that I get and everyone's addresses and names and everything, just so that I have somewhere to kind of cross off a list and like see how far I've gotten. And I'm not happy about this development because I really would like to make pen pal letters and send to everyone who sends a letter to me, but it is just physically impossible. And I know that you guys will understand, you're all very reasonable people. I'm so lucky to have the best viewers. You guys are always so nice to me. And I just want you to know that I really appreciate all of the letters that I get, and I'm really thankful, and that this is not an easy decision to make, but it's something that I have to do, because not only does it make me stressed out, but it also makes me feel bad, and I just don't want to like have that energy in my daily life, you know, feeling like oh, I should be making a pen pal letter, I should be doing this. So for 2023 I'm only going to make pen pal letters for my pen pals and not for other letters that end up in my PO box. So on the left side of the spread I have a little overview of my pen pals. This is where I keep their addresses and also like the dates that they sent me a letter and the dates that I replied to their letter, just to keep track of it. Fun fact, I actually made this spread in my previous journal, but you've never seen it because I used the same decorations in this spread as I did in July when I set up my previous journal. This is the Tori washi tape set from Notebook Therapy, and I received this like in June or July, and I used it in my journal. It was also in my 2022 like second half of the year bullet journal setup video, but I had to cut it out because the set wasn't released. And I've just been sitting on it ever since, and it was finally released this month. So now I can finally show you. But now I'm starting to use a new notebook, so I decided to use the same decoration in this notebook just so that I can at least show you. Although this is the last spread that you'll see me set up in this notebook, it is not the last yearly spread that I am making for myself. I am also doing some like work-related spreads. I'm doing a little YouTube calendar, for example, like which videos I want to post when, because those things usually went in my future log, but there just isn't enough room in this future log to like include all of those videos as well. So I made a separate spread for that, and you'll probably see it on Instagram at some point, I think, because I do want to show some more pictures of my journal there. So if you're not following me on Instagram yet, definitely go do that. I also made a grid spacing guide actually, because this is the first time I'm using a B5 notebook, so I'm not that familiar with how many squares are each way and how I can split up my pages quickly without having to like count the dots every single time. So I put that in the back of my notebook, but I actually forgot to film it. So I sketched it out and then I just forgot to pen it while I was filming this because it was in the back of my notebook. So I just didn't see it, I guess. I was a little bit in my own world while filming this. But yeah, this pen pal spread is actually a really useful spread for me. I've been using this a lot ever since I started pen paling and ever since I opened my PO box. And speaking of my PO box, I'm really excited to check my PO box next week because I am going back to Norway for Christmas, and so I'll finally be able to catch up on all the mail that has arrived at my PO box while I've been away. I haven't been in Norway since August, so it's been quite some time, and I'm really excited to read all of you guys' letters and also catch up on my pen pals' letters. Of course, I'm also kind of sad to be leaving Tokyo, but I will be back, definitely. I also got to see a beautiful sunset over the city, although the city in itself isn't necessarily beautiful in this area. It was still a really nice sunset. And because the sunset, the light was kind of disappearing, and so I decided to do a final flip through at home at my apartment instead. So that's what you will see at the end of this video. Just so that we can look through all of the spreads that I made in this video in peace, see some close-ups, you know, all of that. I like to do flip throughs of all of the spreads that I make in a video at the end of the video. So while we look through the spreads, I just want to say a big thank you to all of you for being here with me during the year of 2022, and I'm so excited to see what next year brings, and I hope that you will be here and experience it along with me because you guys are the best and you have literally kept me going through this past year. So thank you so much, and thank you so much for watching this whole video. If you're still here at the end, put a rabbit or bunny emoji in your comment to let me know. And just a little housekeeping towards the end, I do have a Patreon page where I make both digital and physical goodies for my patrons every month. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely check it out. I'll put a link in the description box. There is also a Discord server just for patrons, and it's the best place ever. We share cat photos, stationery, hauls, just all the good stuff, you know? And speaking of my Patreon, a huge thank you to my patrons, because they really are the best, and they're the ones who let me continue what I'm doing, and they bring me ideas and requests, and they're just so nice. The nicest people. So thank you so much. I really truly appreciate all of you. And lastly, a big thank you to Notebook Therapy for sponsoring this video and for supporting my little channel. If you ever want to make a purchase from Notebook Therapy, be sure to use my discount code mochibujo10 because it gives you 10% off your order. And with that, I think I will call it a day. Thank you so much for watching this video. I know it's a long one, but I hope you enjoyed it. I am really enjoying this B5 notebook. I am so excited to be setting up my January spreads. So stay tuned for my January 2023 bullet journal setup video. I hope that you're all having a lovely day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!